What is up, heroes? It's Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Let's Play 999 Blind. In the last episode, we had a moment with Clover and Ace, for that matter, I guess. And we even more so had quite a bit of difficulty with a really simple ending to a puzzle. A lot of you guys have mentioned or given comments regarding the puzzles and, potential changes in future installments in the series, which are promising. Something I did want to clarify that was brought up in a comment was, I personally don't think that these puzzles are bad. I just think they're not the type of puzzle, whether it's difficulty or level of investigation, exploration, etc., that I'm looking for. And there's definitely a distinction between an easy puzzle and a bad puzzle, right? You can still have a great, relatively simple puzzle, and I think that's what a lot of them have been up until this point. And I think it's cool that they integrate a lot of numbers, which is, an interest of mine. But with all that out of the way, let's see what we got here. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched down in front of Junpei for a bit, before turning left like a great backward L. Alright, let's go. Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. He ran, and ran, and ran. And at the end of the hallway was a door. That's the next door. He made straight for it. Wait, a piece of paper? He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. A note? Let's see. Junpei skidded to a halt. This is... He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor. A map? Oh, it's a map of the ship's interior for A deck. Ace. Having a little bit of difficulty keeping up with the youngsters. What's wrong? Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei. I found a map for this floor. He showed Ace what he snatched from the wall. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded. I see. With that, he began running again past Junpei. Well, that was anticlimactic. Expecting some sort of ransom note with all the different shape and size letters. I should keep this though. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, but Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped him. Hey, where's Clover? He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. Well, that's problematic. Darn it, what the heck is she up to? Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. Suspicious. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters. Her hand on the doorknob. She was gonna go back? Clover! Huh? As Junpei watched, she closed it, gently and quietly. That is very suspicious. What the heck are you doing? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? Yeah, I would be like Junpei, no. Don't tell me you were doing nothing. There's clearly some intent here. Explain it all. Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket, as if trying to hide something. Welp. What the heck is that? What does she have in there? What? You've got something in your pocket. What is it? Oh, this? This is... A note. A note. A single solitary note. What? I'm not buying it. A note? Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something. Huh? Yeah, I was gonna say, what the heck? Let me see it. Yeah, I gotta verify this evidence with my own eyes. No, not right. This is where you step up and you're like, Clover, you're gonna show me right now. We're in a life or death situation. But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice. Hey, Junpei, Clover, what are you two doing? Hurry up.
怒られちゃった。
He's getting mad. Yo, I'd be like, Ace, hold up a second. Clover's acting suspicious. And that would, raise some alarms. Clover
と
shrugged.
にかく、後で見せてあげるよ。
I'll show it to you later, alright?
さ、いいから早く行こう。
Come on, we gotta hurry. Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. I'm not digging it. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. I'm not buying it at all. A note? A note. Junpei was curious. Who stuffs both of their pockets in a, ball-like manner rather than... I mean, a note is a single solitary piece of paper, right? Maybe multiple pieces of paper if it's a really long note. Even then, would you hide it in two separate pockets? Would you ball it up, or would you fold it? But there was something else that bothered him.
あのポケットの膨らみ
From the look of that pocket,
どう見てもメモだけじゃないよな
it doesn't particularly look like just a note.
何考えてんだか
Jeez, what are you thinking?
も
For crying out loud, just after we thought we were, I don't know, somewhat getting closer to Clover, sharing trust or something of that. Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Is that landscaper outside? Hopefully somebody else is. At the very least, hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. Okay. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
大階段やっぱりここに出たか
The big stairs. So this is where it ends up.
地図にあった通りだな
Just like it says on the map. It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His I see after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
一宮はこの下か
Ace? Did he head down? He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
いたな
Oh, there he is. I don't see him.
見て、他の4人もいるよ。
Look, the four others are there too. And not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
マジか
Well, that's reassuring. Really? Let's join them. How about you show me your pockets first, Clover? Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B-Deck at the same time.
淳平くん、やつらちゃん。
Junpei-kun! Clover! June's face was excited. She doesn't look very excited, but something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at
ど
her.
うしたんだ
What's up? Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it! The 9 door, I'd imagine. Found what?
使ったんですよ。
We found it!
だから何が
What did you find?
最後の扉が、
The last door!
9の扉が見つかったんです。
We found door 9! And the music kicks in.
だって
I love it. What?
とにかく行こうついてきてくれ事情は道すがら説明してやる
Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way. I don't know how much time they have left. Hopefully they've taken a look, and maybe that's gonna justify this urgency with which they're talking and wanting to rush to door number 9. But it is a little bit, in my opinion, incompetent to completely override whatever could potentially be offered by the group you haven't seen yet. Because we still have a lot to offer regarding who potentially Zero is, Alice, the library.
あ
Okay. Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs.
あまそういうこった
Well, if that's the case,
お先。
wait for me.
では私たちも
Also,
行こうか
who do we have left? We have what? Ace, we have Clover, we have Junpei, we have June, and we have June, and we have Seven, and we have Lotus, right? Isn't that 6? There's no way everybody's getting through that 9 door. The rest followed. Junpei-kun.
いよいよですね。
We finally made it. The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them felt.
そうだな。
Yeah, it's finally time. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. At the very least, you have one big conflict coming up about who actually gets to make it through the 9 door. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
ついに来たか。
We've reached the end. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
ナンバリングドアの先へ進めるのは3人から5人まで。
But something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door.
今行動を共にしているのは7人だから、少なくとも2人はあぶれることになる。
7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there'll be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people.
何かいい方法があればいいんだが。
Is there a way? Junpei looked over at the clock.
4時30分。
4:30.
あと90分か。ゆっく
Wow.
り考えている暇はないな。
We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
おい
To be fair,
紫何やってんだ早く来い
to be fair, 90 minutes is quite a bit of a time when you consider that each of these numbered doors doesn't really take that much time. Maybe you want to play it a little bit safe so that if there is a puzzle after the number 9 door to get out, then, you know, you have time to solve that, but 90 minutes is still decent for one door. Regardless, hey, Junpei, June, what the heck are you two doing? Hurry it up! Sana's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
行きましょう、純平くん。
Let's go, Junpei-kun. June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Yeah. Junpei followed. Okay. To the elevators? Oh, wow, into the elevators. From C deck to the elevator. And then down. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E deck. It looked familiar. I mean, yeah, that's where we explored earlier. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. 7 grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
さっき事情を説明してやるって言ったが、別に大したことじゃねえんだ。
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to
お前ら
explain.
3人と別れた後、俺たち4人は左側のエレベーターに乗り込み、この鉄格子の向こう側へと降り立った。
After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the
そ
grate.
して、
After that,
そこから直線通路へ。
we headed down another hallway.
選手の方に向かってまっすぐ進むと、突き当たりには順平と紫が発見したっていう6の扉があった。
It took us toward the bow, and eventually to the number 6 that you two found
俺たち
earlier.
4人はその扉を開いて先へと進んだ。
We opened it and kept going.
そこには例によって例のごとく、パズルの散りばめられた空間が2つあった。
Oh, really? 2 of them? There was another locked door behind it, like usual, but this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could
そ
unlock
れら
it.
の謎を解いて別の扉から脱出すると、
Once we were through that
そ
door,
こにはさっきとは逆方向、船尾の方に向かって
There
まっ
was
すぐ伸び
another
た直線
hallway.
通路が横たわっていた。
there was another hallway that went the other direction toward the stern.
その途中にこのエレベーター乗り場があったと。
So, huh? Hello? I don't know why, for some reason, just like tabbed out of the game. The game just like minimized. Regardless, so on your way, you found the elevator?
そうだ。
That's right.
つまりぐるっと一周回って
So in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh?
向こう側からこっち側へたどり着いたってわけだな。
You came from that side to this side. Yeah. And then you were able to unlock the elevator, or what? That settled, Junpei looked
ところ
around.
で肝心の9の扉が見当たらないが
So, where's the number 9 door?
案内して、ついてこい。
Over here, follow me. 7 began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. And they're walking. Junpei and the others broke into a jug to keep up with him.
そういえば
By the way, they've been walking for a while. June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
今こうしていられるのってサンタさんのおかげなんですよ。
You know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now, huh?
こうしていられる
Huh?
7人が全員揃って9の扉を目指しているこの状況のことです。
That all 7 of us are going to door 9. That's not the clarification Junpei was looking for.
わからないですか？
You don't get it?
サンタさん、セブンさん、ヤシロさん。
Santa, 7, and
この
Lotus.
3人の数字項を計算してみてください。
What's their digital root? Oh, so you're just trying to say, like, that, like, it's not really June's, like, June didn't participate in it, right? So their digital root would be what, 18? 9?
9
I guess I don't really get it entirely. 9. It's 9.
そうです。
That's right.
3人は私たちを置いて先に進むことだってできたんですよ。
They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to. Oh, okay, so this is what she's going for. I was like, huh? Like, what's going on here?
でも
It's true, they could have left her behind. But they didn't.
サンタさんが反対してくれたから
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them.
紫や他の3人を置き去りになんてできない。
He
そう
said,
言ってくれて。
we can't leave June and the others
そ
behind.
れで順平くんたち3人を連れてこようって話になったんです。
That's why we went looking for you guys. Wow, not because of 7 or Lotus, Santa of all
The-
people.
さっきの右側のエレベーターに乗って大階段エリアに戻ってきた
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase. That's right.
それにしても意外だなあのサンタが反対したとは
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you. I mean, Junpei felt his eyebrows, knit as he considered that.
でも誤解しないでくださいね。
Oh, don't get me wrong. Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's
だ
concern.
からといってセブンさんやヤシロさんが私たちを置いてけぼりにしようとしたってわけじゃないですから。
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind, huh? Didn't you just say that Santa was the stopping force that kept them from going through?
軽くそういう話が出た時に先頭を切って反対してくれたのがサンタさんだったっていうだけで。
Okay, so that's not as tense or strong of a situation as anticipated, but it's still worthwhile. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first. Is that so? Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly
着いた
stopped.
ぞ
We're here. Interesting. In front of them stood a door, yet it's not
ここか?
numbered. So, is this... Yeah. Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod.
他に進めそうなところは
There's no other place for us to go?
ない
Nope.
ご覧の通りだよ
Just look
こ
around.
の長い直線通路の先には分厚い鉄の壁
There's a big old iron wall at the end of the
左手に
hallway.
は船の左舷と右舷を結ぶ横断路があるがそこにもエレベーターホールと同じように鉄格子がはめられている
The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal
な
grates.
るほど
I see. It looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
さあ上がったらさっさと行くぞ
Alright, let's get moving. He pulled open the door and walked in. I'm gonna be honest, so I'm a little bit of a grammar nerd, and I get that people don't always speak grammatically perfectly, myself included, right? It's just normal conversation and stuff. But when I read a lot of this text and I see stuff like this comma here, that maybe is used in the like very original intent of commas, when I think Shakespeare's at least accredited with inventing the comma to indicate to actors in his plays when they should pause when reading something. But now, from like a grammatical sense, commas have a lot of strict rules, and this does not qualify because this second half is not, an independent clause. And this is the second time this episode has jumped out to me. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. Sorry for the non sequitur. Oh wow. That is an impressive looking door. It appeared they'd been telling the truth. No way. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number. 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing, made of red paint. The music, though. The door it decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
9の扉
The 9 door. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Yeah, no kidding. This whole room in general. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
ついにここまで
We're finally here. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read, vacant.
違いないこいつが9のナンバリングドアだ
No doubt about it, this is door 9.
いよいよだこれが最後の
Finally, this is the last. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
後ろを見ろ
Junpei, look behind you. He turned around.
後ろ
Behind? Oh, now what are we gonna innocently look at and find? The deathly dark, despairing image behind us. What? Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
なんで
Why?
9の扉が
Dogs. Sorry about that. A door and a 9. So are there 2 number 9 doors?
あるんだ
There's another one. Interesting. And what is up with this? Is that like a coffin over there as well?
おいどういうことだよこれ
Hey, what the heck? What the heck is going on here? Interesting. So, is the game maybe then created in such a way that you take a 50-50 chance at the end to potentially, pick which door for number 9 is correct? Or is it that you don't have to end up leaving someone behind and you were just falsely working under the assumption that there'd be only one of each numbered door on the ship? His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd been seeing. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door, set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door.
レッドがあるってことは
There's a red there too. That means...
当然開かないか
And of course, it won't open. He grabbed the handle and shook the door. Not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
なんで
But why?
なんで9の扉が2枚もあるんだ
Why the heck are there 2 doors? It was Ace who spoke first.
どちらかが当たりどちらかが外れ、そういうことなんじゃないか？
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one? Lotus was skeptical.
どうかしら私は違うと思うけど
I don't know about that. That seems
ど
unlikely.
うしてだね？
What makes you
こ
say
れまで
so?
通り抜けてきた数々の部屋
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so
謎は
far.
いくつも散りばめられてたけどそこには必ずヒントが隠されてたわ
They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve
少な
them.
くとも勘で正解を当てろなんて仕掛けはどこにもなかった
I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we decide to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the
そ
puzzle.
れが最後の最後に来て運任せなんてことゼロがしてくると思う
Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero is going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
だったらこの部屋のどこかにヒントが
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room? I mean, it's very possible, but I don't think Lotus is necessarily implying that this is a puzzle room. Maybe more so that one of each of the number 9 rooms is a puzzle room for whoever goes in one of them to solve. I think that's at least what she's trying to convey. I'm not saying that's, more or less valid than the other way of thinking.
それはないと思います
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. Have you scoured the place, June?
さっき一通り探してみたんです
Oh, I guess she has. I searched it very well when I was in here before.
それらしきものはどこにも。
I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
ああ、そうか。ということは、
Well then, that means...
ああ、どっちの9も正解ってことだろう。
Yeah, both of these are the right doors.
そもそもゼロは
I mean, if you think
9
about
の
it,
扉は1枚しかないなんてことは一言も言ってないんだからな。
Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
脱出するための出口は船内のどこかに隠されている。
Yep, if you just read the text, it says a door, not the door. So, important distinction. Junpei began to mutter to himself.
扉は2枚あったか。
So, if there are two number 9 doors,
だったら3人と4人に分かれれば。
if we split it up right,
無理だよ。
that's not gonna work. Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
手帳とペン持ってたよね。貸してもらえる？
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
ああ、ほら。
Yeah, here. Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. Well, here we're gonna get all of our combinations and see how it doesn't work out. Look at this. Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
わかった？
You get it?
上段は数字根が9になる組み合わせ。下段はそれ以外の人たち。
The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit.
考えられる組み合わせはこの8通りしかないの。3
There's
人と4人で分かれるとしたらね。
There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. You could also consider, what if I split up into a group of 2 groups of 3 and leave 2 behind rather than a group of 4 and leave 3 behind, right? Yeah, I think that might also be worth considering.
3
So,
人で9の扉に入れば4人が取り残される。
if 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind.
4人でこの先に進めば3人が置き去りに。そういうことだな。
If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind, right? Yeah, I'll take their word on that they've done the math. Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. No way. Despair sets in. Ooh, what's with this fade? The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were
そう
blank.
いえば
Come to think of it. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him.
ここは一体どこなんだ？
What is this room? The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. It looks like a little, chapel of some sort, right? 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the
で
room.
何かの式場みたいだ。
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. Yeah, exactly. But what kind? I mean, you gotta show the front of the room where there's that coffin, right? Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. Check out that carpet texture, though. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet, there we go.
祭壇なのか？
Is that an altar? It was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin. Have we finally found Alice? A coffin.
まさか。
No. It couldn't possibly be. It looks like it's got a number pad on it. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. I don't blame him, but he decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. I'm surprised nobody else has mentioned it. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
わかったよ、降参だ、降参。
Okay, I give up, I give up.
待ってりゃ誰かが突っ込んでくれるんじゃねえかと思って黙ってたんだが。
I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but
どうやらそんな度胸のあるやつはいねえみてえだな。
I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
どういうことだよ。
What are you talking about? Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
あ？もしかしてお前ら気づいてなかったのか？
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet?
ったくしょうがねえな。
Fine, fine.
教えてやるよ。
Let me enlighten you.
さっきの四つ葉の説明にはな、ちょっとした抜けがあったんだよ。
Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something.
間違いってわけじゃねえんだが。
She wasn't really wrong, she just...
ああ、めんどくせえ。とにかく、俺を見ろ。
Screw it. Let me just write it out. Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone was clustered around him, desperate for a look. There we go.
3人と4人で分かれるって条件付きなら、確かに四つ葉の言ったことは正しい。
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right.
だがな、それ以外にも方法はあるんだよ。たった一つだけな。
But there's another way. Only one combination, though.
3人と3人と1人で分かれる場合、それ
If
が
you split us up
ここに書
into
いた組み合わせだ。
groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
お前まさか。
Wait, this means...
勘違いすんなよ。俺は何も一宮のジジイの真似をしようってんじゃねえんだ。
Don't get me wrong here, I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like
大
that.
病室での一宮の件、あれがなかったとしても、俺は同じことを言ってただろう。
Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
同じこと
The same thing.
同じことってもしかして
Are you saying...
ああ、だからそういうことよ。
Yeah, I
俺
am.
が一人でここに残る。
I'll stay behind. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
何かっこつけてんのよ。
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Why do you care, Lotus? It's 7 we're talking
あん
about.
たバカじゃないの？
Are you some kind of idiot? Lotus was the first to speak. This is so out of character for Lotus. One, she's always incredibly annoyed with 7. But second, throughout the entire time, she's always been like, yeah, let's keep moving on. We're gonna have to leave people behind anyways. Like, who cares if we leave people behind along the way? That, in and of itself, was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had
私は
volunteered.
絶対に反対だからね。あんたなんかに借りを作ってまで生き延びたくないし。
I'm completely against this. I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here. The rest of them began to speak all at once.
私も反対です。一宮さんの時と同じこと言わせないでください。
I mean, of course, June. I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either, of course. But also at the same time, like, sure, you can express that, but you better start thinking about some alternative solution.
私も同じ。その提案は飲めないよ。もっと他にいい方法があると思うし。
I don't like that idea. There's got to be other options. Yeah, maybe something you've got in your pocket is going to be really helpful.
私も同意しかねるな。英雄の役を奪われたのではたまらないからね。
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked
と
at
いう
Seven.
わけだ、セブン。その意見は却下だ。
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal
四
denied.
つ葉が言った通り、他の方法を考えよう。
Glover's right. There's got to be a better way than this. Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
どいつもこいつも。
Doesn't make any sense. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
な、待てよ。俺はまだ何も言ってないぜ。
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable. Yeah, why is he all being like, oh, I can't believe you guys are fine with it? Like, the way he's interjecting right now makes it seem like he's gonna fight the contrary and be like, wait a minute, why are we wasting time looking for a solution we know we won't find?
まさか、賛成なのかセブンの提案に。
Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here? Santa shook his head.
いや、反対だね。セブン一人を置き去りにするわけにはいかねえ。
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
だったら別に。
then I don't see how it matters.
一人を
Yeah, I was gonna say the key word there is alone. He's probably more so a fan of, I don't know, maybe a group of 5 and then leaving 2 behind. Potentially. I said alone. Huh?
一人を置き去りにするわけにはいかねえ。そう
I
言ったんだ。
said, I don't want to leave 7 alone. There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
お前何を
What the heck are you? Is he going to be like, I know who Zero is. I know that we have 2 traitors amongst us. One of which is 7, and the other is the person who's going to be left behind with him. Ta-da!
わからねえのか。
What? You don't get
一
it?
人じゃダメなんだよ。あと二人必要なんだ。
I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more.
セブンを加えて三人。三人を置き去りにする。
Huh? 3 people, including 7. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. Why is he saying it like, I'll be leaving behind 3 people? Is it that, unless it's... Why is he so defiant
そ
about
れが
this?
俺からの提案。いや、
That's my proposal. No.
命令だ。
Those are my orders. What?
命令って
What do you mean, orders?
勝手に決めんじゃねえよ。誰がお前なんかの命令に従うかよ。
What the heck makes you think you can order us around? Who the heck's gonna listen to you?
従うさ。あと3秒も経てば従わざるを得なくなる。
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice. What?
なんだと
Huh?
2、1。
3, 2, 1. Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... he had June. Well, this isn't the best of situations. I'm still just trying to figure out why, right? Like, it's not like with any of the proposals thus far, Santa isn't making it further, right? Like, Santa's gonna be going through the door, whether it's the 3-3-1 or the 4-3. Right? Maybe it's one of the combinations of 4-3. None of them include Santa, potentially? I don't remember. Nor do I want to take the time to figure it all out right now, but... where did he get a gun like that? Where has he been hiding it this entire time?
な、言った通りになっただろ。
See? I told you. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. Huh? What? A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple.
なんだよ
Why?
なんなんだよそれはよ
What the heck is that? Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
あの部屋で見つけた銃だな。
The guns from the other room.
部屋
What room?
6の扉の先にあった空間のことだ。
One of the rooms behind door
こんなこ
6.
とになるなら奪っておくべきだったぜ。
I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
今さらおっせんだよこのデクノボーが。
Well, it's too late now. Darn it. A mixture of fury and frustration. Twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backward, and dragging June with him. Really now? Is he gonna be like, what, 3, 6, and then... If that's 9, he needs 2 more people that add up to 10 to go with him? Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly and then forced June to do the same. So, I don't recall any combination.
それじゃ命令に従ってもらおうか。
I don't recall any of the 3-3-1 combinations involving. Well, yeah. I mean, if you take the combination of those two, you need two people that add up to 10 to go with. Right? Because at the moment they're at 9. And if they need a digital root of 9, they need to... Oh, no, they just need to add 9. Or anything for that matter, right? No. What am I thinking? They need two people that add up to 9. Do they even have that in their arsenal? It would have to be Junpei and Clover, right? And that would leave behind Lotus and 7 and Ace? Or you could take Ace and Lotus and leave behind Clover, Junpei, and 7.
一宮、ヤシロ、喜べよ。選ばれたのはお前ら二人だ。
Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. The question is why? I'm still like really curious, just to wondering what's the motivation here? Why does he not want to save everyone? Is he confident he knows who Zero is? And is it just Ace and 7 and now we're happening to get stuck with them just because of how the numbers work? I don't know.
さあ、認証。
Put your hands on the red. Yep, so there's the math. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
おい、聞こえなかったのか。
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order. Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed, frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
そうか、仕方ねえな。
Right. Fine.
弾を無駄にしたくはなかったんだが。
I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it. No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
撃った。
He really shot
どう
it.
して？なん
But-
でサンタが？
Why? Santa, why are you... Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
サンタは私たちの仲間だったはずで。
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends. Is she referring to that experiment?
あ
What?
クローバーのリーフワード知ってたんでしょ？
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover. Santa's cheek twitched, almost
何
imperceptibly.
のことだ。さっぱりわからねえな。
What the heck is that? I've got no idea. You're lying.
うるせえガタガタ言ってんじゃねえよこのクソガキが
Shut up, just shut up.
てめえのクソみたいな脳みそをクソみたいにぶちまけてやろうか
You want me to put a bullet in your head? Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small. Santa... He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
ほら何やってんだよジジイババ
Alright, bakas. What are you still standing there
さ
for?
っさとこっちに来て認証しろや
Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day.
それともあれか猛録して耳が遠くなってんのかあ
Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe? Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. Interesting. So, is Santa maybe just threatening to kill June to try to get... For whatever reason, he's threatening to kill June to get through. But what happens if he does kill June? Right? If he kills June, then he doesn't have anything to bargain with, right? Is there any other combination of 3 that could get Santa through the door, right? I don't know. I think that's what Junpei's about to go into. That's it. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do.
それしかない。
It's the only way. He turned to Ace and Lotus.
頼む。言ってやってくれ。
Please, go.
え
Huh?
そんな
No way.
何言ってるんですか？
Junpei-kun, what are you saying? I'm trying to think, if Santa were to kill June, would he actually be able to even get through the door? Would there be some other combination? It would be 3 and then potentially, what? 1, 4, 5, 7, or 8? There probably is in there, honestly. They would probably need to add up to, if we're assuming 4 people go through, it would have to be up to the number 18. So when you take away Santa, it would have to be, the 3 other people have to add up to 15. Is that possible? Not with 7 and Clover. With Ace. Maybe not. Or no, obviously with just 7 and 8, right? The 3 of them could go, right? Yeah, so I guess he could still make it through even if he were to kill June.
ここに取り残されたら純平くん。
If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck, Junpei-kun.
純平くんだけじゃなくて、四つ葉ちゃんもセブンさんだって。
And so will Clover and Seven.
分かってる。
I know.
だが、俺たちのことなら心配するな。なんとかしてみせる。
But you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Is that gonna be the whole Alice thing?
なあ、
Or...
セブン。
Right, Seven?
ノーよ任せとけ
Right. You just leave it to us. Huh?
サンタの野郎の言いなりになるのはヘドが出るぐらいムカつくけどな
It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but
私のことも心配しなくて平気だから。
don't worry about me either.
まだやらなきゃいけないことが残ってるし。
There's still something I have to take care of. So Clover's being all mysterious too about what she's got in her pockets, something going on with Snake, something to take care of. There's still the whole thing of where is Alice on this ship, and then potentially she knows some like nooks and crannies to get past the numbered doors. I'm very curious. And then why is Santa even doing this in the first place? What does he have to gain from this, right? Because he wasn't losing anything under any of the proposed solutions. At least to my knowledge. Anyways, we're going to find out in the next episode. This is a long episode. There's a lot going on. Pretty dramatic, obviously. And I'm quite curious to just understand what the rationales are. What's the motivation for creating such a scene like this? But anyways, till the next episode, this has been Midnight Zero. And this mission is complete.